Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. So yep, I finally got a new carpet that I found in stock. Has the right color match as the factory did. So here I am just cutting out everything, matching everything up to the old rear section. And in a minute here, I'll tell you exactly what kind of went wrong with doing this way. So I was messing with this carpet all day, last night, and then this morning I'm back at it again. Found out two things. I'm not good at carpet installation, and make sure you lay out the carpet, do a dry run first before you start cutting anything. I thought I was good with everything, but I didn't realize they made two different lengths of the front and the rear, and it did not match up to what the factory length was. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I should have laid out this one before I started cutting because I'm starting to fit this in really nice. I got all this cut and everything. I should have laid this front one out first and then laid out the second one, even though the front overlaps the second. Reason being, this front, they made this a lot shorter. The rear, they made a lot longer than factory. Because I was wondering why I had to cut off 6 or so inches of length on this rear one when I just overlaid it and did it that way. So what I have to do now, as you can see, I taped some stuff here. Don't worry about this tape. This is where I have to add extra padding underneath to make it a little bit more firm. But this section right here, I cut off, and that is obviously going to be showing when I put the seat back on. So I would have had a gap right under here if I take this off. So what I'm going to do is get some normal carpet sealing or seaming tape and heat it up with the iron and then put it back together. A lot more work, a lot more time, but unfortunately that's what I have to do right now. And I'll take this out. So I have a nice flat surface to use just a normal iron on and bond the two back together, and then we should be all set. But sounds really simple to do this sort of thing, but you can get carried away and mess your carpet up if you're not careful like I wasn't. But pretty disappointing in that, but there's always a fix for something. You just gotta sit back and think about what you want to do. So let me go do that now and show you guys what it looks like. So here I am trying to stick this back together with some carpet seaming tape. Obviously don't have the right tool, but just get a cheap iron. As long as you heat it up enough, as I found out, and put it together correctly, then you can get it back together and kind of mesh the edges and rough up the carpet a little bit, and then it would blend in as I'm doing here. This is my first time ever doing this, so it was a little bit of a learning process, but it ended up turning out pretty nice. And you can't even tell whenever the seat's going to be in that this has ever been repaired like this. And I'm definitely not waiting for another carpet. So everything matches up. Obviously, I just put on the carpet that I cut off on those edges, so everything line-wise is now matching up with it, and looks good that way. I did add some extra padding in the rear. This makes it feel a little bit better and add some extra support under the carpet, just because the mold wasn't deep enough in my opinion when they made this. It should have been a little bit deeper for the carpet. Yeah, so after messing with it a little bit more, you can't really tell where the seams are at too much. If you really look, there's one right here where I spliced it in. There's another one down here. And then the worst one was the first one I started, which was over there, but it actually shows up on camera a little bit more than in person, so that's kind of weird. But anyway, I think I'm at the point now where everything's starting to fit nicely. I have everything that's going to be covered up, so it'll be covered up. This front one, I'm going to put in second, obviously. This rear one, I think I'm going to use a little bit of contact adhesive underneath it and then start forming everything that way. And then underneath here, this padding actually helped out a lot because what was happening was this was bunching up and pulling, so I needed something else to support it back there. It just wasn't quite thick enough, and the way that they molded this, they should have had a deeper curve underneath the bottom of it. If they did that, then it would have been fine. This transmission tunnel, this is super hard to try to get this manual. There's a mold right here, which I just wish they wouldn't even have put in, but it goes around the 4-speed kind of opening for the manual transmission. So I really have to glue that down and smash it down here to pull it. So that's going to be the challenge. There's a ton of excess material on this, so I'm going to have to be really careful and not mess up again and cut everything that I need to cut in order to lay it flat. But let me glue this back one down first, and then I'll start working on the front. Also put the center console in. just to make sure that fits and everything lines up. So everything's covered. We're good to go to spray some adhesive. All the blue tape is the general area of where I need to poke holes through when everything's laying flat. I'm not really 100% happy with how this is laying down. So never done this before, but I'm thinking maybe to use some steam to flatten out some of the areas here before I glue on this other half. It's starting to bunch up over here and on the gas pedal area as well. So what I have going on now, I have a steamer that just had from doing wallpaper a while ago. So I'm just gonna wait for this to heat up and try to relax it using this end over here. And if that doesn't relax it enough, then I'm just gonna have to cut it in the middle where it's hidden, and that should definitely fix it then. You probably can't tell, but that's actually helping a ton. Bringing this down, this was up about 1/2 inch. Now it's conformed to the edge. I'm getting a nice mold right here on the crease where the seat kind of covers. And then I'm going to work my way down the transmission tunnel all the way over to the edge. And then I'll smooth out the driver's side too. So definitely recommend doing it this way. And then after it all cools, I'll then glue it down. And then that should be pretty solid. Won't have to worry about cutting anything else or adding any material. But yeah, definitely a steamer works. So I just quickly painted underneath where the rust was at. This is going to all be covered, but I didn't want rust to contaminate my brand new rug, so I used that rust encapsulator on a foam brush. So everything is ready to be put in for the passenger side now. All right, guys, the more I thought about it and some more comments I was reading, I'm going to just take this dash out right now and just clean all the air ducts out. And that way I know everything will be 100% clean. It smells fine now, but when I turn the air on or the heat or whatever, I know it's definitely going to start smelling. So probably a good idea to do it now. And then I could also try to fix this dash because it is coming up just a little bit there. And then the interior will then be pretty much perfect. So let me take the steering wheel off now. I have no idea how to disconnect this dash. I see up underneath here there's a couple clips that kind of push in. Of course, there's no clip on this one. That's why this is coming up, so it's not holding it down as much. But I'm going to try to separate these clips, pull it out, and hopefully I can just leave all the bracketry in place because everything is aligned correctly from the factory for all these metal brackets under here. Not only am I going to repaint this, but I'm also going to try to fix where this is lifted at. So right there is where the hump is. And you can see all these tabs that hold stuff down. This one's here. I have this other one. But this one, where it's lifted right in the middle, just doesn't have anything. So I got to find some super industrial strength, like glue or something, and figure out how to put a stud like that one in this section. I'm also going to run a 2x4 across here, clamp it down, and hopefully when the sun hits it, it'll start putting everything back in place as well. So between those two things, and then I'm going to paint all this inside here, get rid of the stench, clean it up real good obviously, replace all that, and then we'll be all set. Here's what this duct work is looking like. You can definitely see there are some mouse turds, and I'm going to try to take this duct out so I can start soaking everything. Everything else looks pretty decent. I am going to take this center section off as well once I figure out how to do that. And then this side's real bad, so definitely glad I took this dash off. Here's what it looks like. I got all the duct worked out. This is the left side, right side. The middle smells the worst. I've had to take that cross piece out to get these two lower outer ones so I can get to the brackets, remove those. Got the speaker out. I don't know if I can find a replacement for that or not. It has a special bracket deal, molded, clipped on. I don't know if I'll be able to get that off. Maybe it just pops out actually. Look at that later. I think that speaker still works actually either way. Cluster out. So I'm gonna clean all that up really nice. And here's what it looks like after I tore everything apart. Kind of a disaster, but labeled everything, and hopefully I remember where everything goes. Probably will end up taking this heater box out just as a final precautionary measure, and I'll clean all these ductworks right here with Clorox, and then probably spray some sort of satin clear on it to seal everything up, just to be 100% sure that it is not going to smell. where I'd say 60% of the smell was coming from. So you can see that's definitely where the smell was. I'll shoot some paint in there just because I don't want to break the seal of the nice paint job on the other side. It's staying there on its own. I am definitely going to be replacing this firewall insulation, and then I'll fix the carpet while I'm here too, even though you can't see it. It's going to be covered. I'll glue this down. I have a chance to glue it down better now, and then I'll definitely do some sort of rust proofer as well on that. Of course, I'll replace the heater box while I'm here too, or the heater core I should say. I just left that all attached so I know how it goes, and I'll snake it through again. And then I'll take this all apart, clean it up, definitely paint the inside, and then that'll get rid of the smell. Also note, I am pushing this dash pad back down. We had a really severe kind of hump there because there's no bracket on this right there. So I'm pushing it down with 2 pieces of wood and some clamps. Had it all out in the 87-degree heat today, all day long, and it is definitely helping and bringing it back down. So once I have this, it'll probably stay about this shape, 70%, and then I'll put another bracket just like it should from the factory. I'll probably just get a really small screw it up from the bottom. This is probably about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch thick at least. So I'll do that and then epoxy it as well, just to make sure, kind of rig it together, but at the same time it's gonna be really sturdy, and then that way it won't redo that when it gets hot when you're driving in the summertime.